But the implementation of this change this year is one that's of particular concern to our current Year 10s. When I wrote to you on Friday, I recognised that this decision would be felt most heavily by Year 10. That is to say, the emotional impact is likely to be felt most heavily by those students because of their expectation that come to the end of a number of their subjects. I did not want to suggest for a second that it'll be felt most heavily by Year 10 because there's nothing meaningful or interesting for the next term, or because their interests are being put aside or that they are not being prioritised. While we won't be starting with Stage 6 content, we are absolutely going to be moving ahead with bridging courses to help them further develop the behaviours and the skills that they need for success in Stage 6. And so at this point, I want to hand over to the Academic Dean, Mrs. Debbie Williams, to address the question, what will Year 10 do next term? Mrs. Williams.
Thank you, Headmaster. It's good to have opportunity to speak about the suite of options we've put together for our Year 10 boys, and I'm really excited to share them with you. Having completed Year 10, the question of how we will use the time afforded to this cohort through extension of the 2021 academic year is important to us. We have looked particularly to principles underpinning the success of the HSC bridging courses we have delivered in past years. And while we are now designing bridging courses for both the IBD and HSC credentials, the principles remain. On this slide, I'd like to share the mechanisms by which we'll offer students a meaningful term of learning. We will, first and foremost, design units of work that provide the challenge required to extend skill development and foster the behaviours associated with learning success for a secondary credential. In some cases, we will reshape class groupings to meet the demands of students stepping into different Year 11 courses. We will provide opportunity for students to change their current electives in order to access a bridging course associated with one of their Year 11 choices. We will allow students to discontinue one of their current courses in order to pursue an independent project. We will run additional bridging courses in HSC English Extension and Mathematics Extension. We will launch the IB Diploma Core in CAS, Creativity, Activity and Service, and offer a Theory of Knowledge primer course. We'll provide students with choice where possible, and at the end of the term, run a 3-day series of workshops launching all Year 11 courses with their Year 11 teachers. Of particular importance is the development of the skills and behaviours required for success in both the HSC and the IB Diploma. As teachers design an additional unit of learning, they'll focus upon providing opportunity for students to practice the things that all highly successful students do. Prioritising and planning, posing questions, undertaking research and investigations, reflecting, working with experts to refine and elaborate their own ideas, synthesising and communicating. Teachers will also work to identify the particular skills underpinning their discipline in both HSC and IB Diploma courses and teach students how to gain greater mastery over these skills. Both the HSC and the IB Diploma identify these skills and their importance. And on this screen, you can see the explicit statement the IB makes about the importance of honing the affective domain, or the way we regulate emotion to actually embrace challenge, as well as metacognitive skills, or the way we think about our thinking, to do things like plan, reflect, learn from mistakes, set goals. Mastering content is necessary, but it is not sufficient. Attending to skills and behaviours is also required. I'd like to turn now to outline arrangements being made for the core subjects of English, Mathematics, Science, Christian Studies and PDHPE. Students will continue with these 5 core subjects. Teachers will design units of work that meet the expectation for students to practice and develop the generic and discipline-specific skills we've been speaking about. For example, the English faculty have identified the key assessment skill of literary analysis of unseen text, demanded by both HSC Paper 1 and the IB Diploma's guided literary analysis questions, and they will teach students these skills. In the course subjects, students will explore content suitable and relevant to the Year 11 courses without beginning the content set down for the Year 11 programs. They will be able to make some choices about what they study and change class groupings where this will allow greater ability to meet student need. To provide an example here, mathematics classes will be reformed to reflect the Year 11 course a student has chosen, and a relevant bridging course will be delivered. In Year 10, students study 2 electives as well as geography and history. While the same principles for learning design govern the programs for Term 4 in these areas, 2 additional options apply to these courses. Students will be able to discontinue one of these courses in order to pursue an independent project. They will also be able to swap courses within both elective lines if they wish, if this will enable them to access a bridging course for a Year 11 selection. As the IB requires all students to study a language, we will make some additional arrangements here. Students continuing with a language will gain further skill development before they begin the SL or HL content by continuing in this elective. In the option to change electives, we'll include provision for ab initio language classes, so students can also begin skill development in their chosen language. Additionally, ab initio languages examined in the May 2023 session will be timetabled an additional period per fortnight in Year 11 2022. Independent projects are an addition to the current suite of courses and are accessed by students when they discontinue either an elective or history or geography. They allow students to practice the skills and behaviours required by the extended essay in the IB Diploma and a range of HSC subjects, such as the Compressed Studies of Religion course and the research demands of Extension English, History and Science. The projects involve extensive student choice. They will be reported formally as part of the Semester 2 Learning Progress Report and therefore contribute to both the EPA and GPA for the Semester 2 report. A new category of award for the annual Speech Day event will be created to acknowledge student excellence in these projects. They'll begin with a series of workshops to support students to initiate a project and then proceed via a mentoring relationship with an assigned teacher. Very similar to the way the IB boys undertake their extended essay. Explicitly, the independent projects will develop 4 outcomes, which will also form the reporting outcomes for their work. Students will be assessed on their self-management skills, their social skills, particularly in the way they're able to work with a mentor, receive feedback and implement that feedback, their research skills and their thinking skills, particularly in relation to that metacognitive development articulated by the IB's approaches to teaching and learning in the earlier slide. It is anticipated that most students will discontinue one course in order to pursue an independent project. As students enter Term 4, they also enter the Opens category for sport. When training is once again permitted, it will therefore take place after school. Part of this bridging term is about asking students to step into the increased demands of a fuller academic timetable. Therefore, we have made particular use of the now available sport afternoons, firstly to launch the IB Core. Students will participate in 4 workshops over the course of the term to enable them to understand the requirements of the CAS portfolio, as well as undertake and log their first activity in ManageBack, the platform that the IB uses to log the CAS activities. They will also participate in some plenary style workshops to begin thinking in the ways demanded by the Theory of Knowledge course. It's worth noting here that these weekly TOC workshops are also available to HSC students and will be of particular relevance to students pursuing the courses listed on the screen. For students undertaking the HSC, sport periods will be used to deliver bridging courses in Extension English and Extension Mathematics. It will be possible for students selecting both Maths and English extensions to participate in both bridging courses, and our accelerated Maths students will also be catered to, and they will be able to continue their program of learning with the required number of periods. Finally, at the end of the term, when we do hope to have students back on site, we'll run a 3-day series of workshops to launch students in their Year 11 courses. Students can participate in workshops for all of their courses. There'll be opportunity for text distribution along with other required resources, and students will connect with their new Year 11 teachers, some of whom may choose to set additional introductory work to be completed over the break. Our next steps for Year 10 are set out here. We anticipate running information sessions for the boys next Tuesday, where we'll provide documentation to them with more precise details about Term 4 learning in the core subjects and the choices they'll be able to make around the elective, HSIE and the independent projects. We'll run a webinar for parents to also engage with these details next Wednesday evening, and we anticipate making the online selection form available to parents on Thursday so students can begin indicating the choices and changes they would like to make to their Term 4 program of study.